Hello and welcome to Beckwith Raceway for the Race 3 qualifying session for the Scrap Mechanic Auto Racing League. We are back here. You have seen this track before in the exhibition rounds. However, since then there has been a balance of performance on the racers and 8 new competitors added to the roster. It looks like we have a sunny day today. Perfect day for qualifying. Hopefully this weather can hold up until tomorrow as well. The qualifying order will be the same as before, just as order of created or added to the roster. So we're going to start with White Rider and finish with Penny King. The format for today's video is going to be highlights and lowlights, mostly highlights, just so we can keep it short because 16 racer is at over a minute a lap. That's around 16 minutes of a video and maybe even 20 minutes if you include this intro. So we're trying to reduce that time, hence the shorter videos that we have here. Looking at the season standings, we have Neon Annihilator in the lead with 2 podiums, 33 points, followed closely by Sniper's Dream, who had 1 win in the first race and has 29 points. Close behind is actually Fire Dragon, who won in the last race, and falling behind them is Blue Bruiser with 18 points. Behind them is Sweet Haze, who's sponsored by Super Olo YT. That's a shout out to their channel. So Super Olo is the name of the YouTube channel. Their link will be in the description, as well as Lamab Industries. If you want to sponsor or own a racer, feel free to check the description and join the Discord, where you can see an automated process of being able to color, name, and do all sorts of things to your own racer and add them in to the different league or second season. Let's get on to the qualifying session. White Rider is going to be the pioneer for this track. We're going to do a full lap with them, see where they end up, and kind of show you where it's gone. White Rider is not new to this track, as he's raced and actually had a win with a lap time of below 106 or 107, I believe, in the exhibition rounds. However, because of the balance of performance, they are moving a little bit slower just to allow for adjustments with the 15 new racers that we have on this track. So coming down, there's a lot of long straights, as you can see, and that requires a lot of little downforce, or at least a least amount of downforce, to keep you at higher top end speeds, as we've had chances for the owners and sponsors to move and adjust their racers. Some of them have kept it normal. So let's see how those pay off. Coming into the S and through the S's is the only time where downforce seems to be super necessary and where you can make or lose some time. And now down the long front stretch at Beckwith Raceway, you can also lose a lot of time if you don't have high top end speed or don't get enough acceleration out of the last corner. White Rider finishes, setting the, top average time at 108.1. So it seems like the 108 mark is where all the racers will be averaging, and anything below that will be fast. Chaos Shifter was a highlight, and Chaos Shifter came in really close to White Rider's time. It seemed like White Rider does set pretty decent qualifying time, but last race had a engine shutdown actually, causing them to end up closer to the back of the pack. Chaos Shifter slides in between Lemon Racer and White Rider with a 108.202, excuse me, right, actually exactly 1/10 of a second ahead of Lemon Racer, who had a 108.302. Blue Bruiser had a very unfortunate race last week, but actually comes in after making adjustments to their front suspension in 4th place so far, provisionally, with a 108.479. Up next, we have Sweet Haze. Sweet Haze has had a very consistent, actually top qualifying spot in the first 2 races, and seems to be trying to keep on holding on to that momentum. They finished 3rd in the last race. Actually, last week's race they finished 3rd place, which isn't bad considering that they finished around 7th or 8th in week 1. Going through the chicane, Sweet Haze actually has made a lot of time on White Rider and seems to be trying to keep that dominating of pole position qualifying going. Super Olo YT must be proud of this because Sweet Haze is a wonderful qualifier. The only thing is, though, with this track, with the sheer amount of straights, qualifying isn't really that important. You can lose or gain a lot of time just from drafting someone during the race. So for the first lap, being in front is important, but after that, it's anyone's game. Sweet Haze keeps up the domination with a 1st place pole position at 108.051, 49 hundredths of a second in front of White Rider, but barely missing the below 108 mark. Up next, we have Fiery Dragon. Fiery Dragon actually won last race and had another adjustment because last race they had a higher downforce to deal with the technical section of Crystal Valley, but now here at Beckwith Raceway, they've reduced their downforce lower than the default standard so that they can have a higher top end. And as you can see here, going to the chicane, they lose some speed because they can't take as much speed around the corners, but going down these long straights, Fiery Dragon, oh my goodness, made a whole bunch more time than the rest of the racers. As you can see, coming in at over 2/10 ahead of White Rider. Actually, Sweet Haze, excuse me. Going through the snake, you can see Fiery Dragon is losing some time, but does make some pretty decent turns and saves that time that they probably would have lost with that lower downforce. Going down the backstretch, Fiery Dragon is 3/10 up. This is definitely on the way to breaking below 108, going into the 107s. It's not quite the fastest lap we've ever seen, but with the draft, we can definitely see where that goes. So Fiery Dragon actually bumps down and removes Sweet Haze from the reign of constant pole position qualifying by beating them out by 0.3 of a second. So Fiery Dragon with the 107 gets ahead. Next up, we have Legends Tires. Legends Tires has had a very unfortunate series of events happen to them in the last 2 races. However, they qualify within the top 10 usually. And as you can see here, top 5, there it is. 108.269 for Legends Tires gives them provisionally 5th place. Up next, we have Purple Shadow Racing. Purple Shadow Racing has also had a minor adjustment to their downforce. Not as much to the suspension though. And we can see here that Purple Shadow is making time against Fiery Dragon's time, but not, and actually against the other racers as well, but seems to having some problems here into the S. So maybe it was the weighting, or maybe it was just a poor run or something, but going through the S, Purple Shadow Racing, has lost almost 4/10 to Fiery Dragon, now down to 5/10. Going down the front stretch, Fiery Dragon is making up a lot of time on the other default racers that don't have their downforce affected. However, when it comes to getting pole position, it seems like they're not going to get it. Purple Shadow Racing slots in at 7th with a 108.353, 0.6 down from Fiery Dragon. Up next, Neon Annihilator. Actually, we're just doing a kind of a low light. Neon Annihilator was the 3rd place qualifier and won last race, but unfortunately slotted in at 14th this round with a 108.601. And that'll be the qualifying. Penny King ended up getting in 11th, with a 108.399. And this has been an interesting qualifying session. So far, it looks like every single racer is within 1 second of each other. Well, Black Knight had the lowest time at 108.751, which is 1 second and 0.003 of a second below first place, Fiery Dragon. So this is going to be a very close race tomorrow. Oh my goodness. I'm getting kind of excited. I can't wait to see how these front stretches and the different strategies that these racers have will turn out. But until then, I hope to see you guys tomorrow, Saturday morning or afternoon, wherever time it is for you, at Beckwith Raceway. And I hope you guys have a great morning, afternoon, night, or evening. And I will see you next time.